Welcome to the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. Now enjoy the show. All right, guys, I want to tell you a little bit about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing brand that proceeds of the shirts, the hats, and everything else go to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. This whole t-shirt company started from me taking care of a 5-year-old girl from the emergency department at the Children's Hospital I worked at in Atlanta for a while back. I thought I needed to do a little bit more than kind of just talk about my story. So this is how I started the clothing line, because I wanted to show people that even though diabetics have this really bad disease, we can still do amazing things in our life, and diabetes won't stop us reaching our goals. So go check out type1lifting.com. And, if you have any questions, you can always reach me out on Instagram. It's Type 1 Lifting, and hope you guys enjoy the show. Hey guys, we have a new sponsor for the Type 1 Lifting podcast. The company's called Liberté Lifestyle. So Liberté is a French word meaning freedom, and the company was founded on the desire to have freedom to choose what we want to do with our lives. I actually had the owner, Nicole, on my podcast on episode 28. So if you want to go back and listen to her, she talks about how she started the company and what she wants to do in the future with the company, which is pretty cool. So they actually have knee sleeves, wrist wraps, shirts, shorts. Love the knee sleeves. I have the ice cream knee sleeves and I love them so much. The neoprene's still good. The seams haven't split compared to other knee sleeves that I've had in the past. And I'm planning to keep these for a very, very long time. So Nicole actually gave me a promo code for you guys too. So it's all capital letters, TYPE and the number 1. So it's Type 1. So go to libertelifestyle.com, check out what they have in the store, use the promo code Type 1 and save some coin. Now let's go to the episode. All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have a very interesting guest. I've wanted to talk to this guy for a little bit, for a while, since the Granite Games, because he honestly looks like one of the dudes from the 300 movie. So it's Tyler Eggimann, sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
How's everything going?
It's going, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Super
so
cool.
so I saw I don't know, I was like searching on Instagram. And I saw a post of you with the dumbbells at the Granite Games of the show. I was like, God, that dude is so jacked. Like, and then I was like, holy cow, this is like unreal. And so that's when I started pretty much following you and kind of like, seeing your story and stuff like that. And I was doing some research on you and I looked at the CrossFit website and I saw you holding, I think it's your son upside down in the picture.
Yeah.
So before all the CrossFit stuff, like I'm a dad of 2, so I like talking to other dads and just kind of seeing what their experience like with their kids are. So
Sure.
So how old's your son?
He's 5.
Okay, cool. So does he have like any favorite shows he likes watching, or like what?
He started getting into like superheroes.
Okay.
So he was Iron Man for probably a year and a half. Solid.
Yeah, very cool.
He was so into it that he would go out into the street and he would stand in the street and wait for cars to come so he could stop them. He would like put his hand out and say, "I'm Iron Man," and he would like try to stop the car. I'm like, dude, you gotta stop this with the Iron Man. You get ran over. So he was super into it. And then I think he's Spider-Man now. He's been Spider-Man for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
everything. Spider-Man, shooting webs, everything. Yep. So
yeah. So does he watch like Spider-Man and Amazing Friends?
Yeah, he's
like
watched
Spider-Friends
400 times.
Yeah. My God.
All the other like PJ Masks and all those shows.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's like that too. So they were into like Spider-Man. Like I'm a big superhero dork too. So I kind of like brought it over to those guys. But like my daughter has a Spider-Man costume. And so what she would do is like try to jump off the couches and like shoot the spider webs everywhere and stuff like that. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
you're funny.
So when your son was born, like what was going through your mind like when he was born?
Like a lot of things, I guess. It was pretty cool. Just like have just a little buddy just to grow up with. So that was it was a pretty cool day and cool time, and still is still awesome. So
Yeah. So just has your dad or like anybody else in your family that you look up to, like kind of teach you anything that's you brought down to your kid?
oh yeah, I had like a grown up with my dad, and I lived around like a bunch of my uncles. So I had like three uncles kind of grew up like really close to me, and so we were all pretty close. And then so yeah, they were all just like really cool guys, hard workers. They had like my dad was a police officer and is in the military, and my uncle's a life flight nurse, and my other uncle's like in the FBI, and so they have like kind of these iconic cool jobs I always thought were like, tough guy, cool jobs. But they were also like super down to earth. They were always outside doing stuff, doing projects, working. And so just try to like bring that to my kid's life, just always doing fun stuff and trying new things. And so yeah.
Yeah. I see you take your son to like hiking and like take him to the gym and stuff like that. So is he like one of those kids that like loves like swinging off the ropes and like hanging off the rings or anything like
Yeah,
that?
he has an impressive amount of energy. It's like he he wakes up in the morning, and we kind of joke about like he'll wake up and he starts talking like before he even opens his eyes. He'll start talking about what he's doing and what's going on and wanting to play, and he will not stop playing. And if you don't let him for like the whole entire day, so he'll
Yeah.
wake up playing and he'll go to bed and like be crying that he has to go to bed and can't play anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's every kid. Yeah, definitely. That's every kid because my kids are like that. They just want to like run around and then like when they go to bed, they just lose their mind. And so with my daughter, when I put her to bed, like with my son, I literally just read him a book and then he just goes to bed, no
yeah,
problem. But my daughter is a whole different story. Like you put her to bed, and I try to put her to bed, but she's like, no, I want mommy. So mommy like sings her a song and kind of makes her stay up a little bit longer. So that's why she wants mommy so much.
yeah,
And
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, just go to bed. Like, is there enough Benadryl in here just to like knock you guys out?
Just go to sleep. What are you doing? Go to sleep. Yeah, it's crazy. I always think he's gonna get tired. We'll go out like on a long hike, and we'll like go swimming, and we'll go to the gym and work out and do all these things. I'm like, he's got it. He's gonna be tired for sure. He's gonna fall asleep. Nope, not tired. Just full energy. It's
I
crazy.
think he might have gone into your pre-workout like every day.
Every single day, I guess.
So, what are some of the things you're looking forward to as a dad when he gets older?
Um, well, like a little bit of my story. A couple years ago, I got divorced, so I don't live with him anymore, which has been pretty tough. Um, but I think just looking forward to the future, I like last couple of years been thinking a lot about like what kind of memories I thought were really valuable for like with me and my dad, and the things that I remember and grew up with. And I think just like those times that, because like he was working a lot and we were, those kind of days just kind of blend together, and they don't really stick out in your memory.
Hmm.
But times are like we went on a backpacking trip like to southern Utah, or we went like on a mountain biking trip, or um like when times like I could spend time with my dad one on one, and we went out and did something really cool and got to spend like a lot of time together. So that was like kind of those foundational moments or like periods of time for me where I really remember like every day and what we did. So I just want to like recreate that for my son, just to be able to have those times where it's like, all right, this is our time, and we're gonna go somewhere for a week, and we're gonna go backpacking, or we're gonna go do this thing, and like create some cool memories together. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I've always learned that you think there's always enough time, but there's like never enough time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I mean, because like my dad passed away like a couple weeks ago, and
Oh, then,
like it's okay. I mean, he had Parkinson's, dementia. It was dementia. It was like it was pretty bad, but you think like you have enough time, but then like you I had to put things off because of COVID and everything like that. Didn't really help out, and like he's like with his Parkinson's and all that stuff, he was getting sick. Like I didn't want to get him sick, and so we're like putting everything off, and then like finally when the time like he broke his hip and went to the ICU, I came down, and then like he said, I loved you to like the last day he was actually talking. And that was it. And like, you always think like you wish you had more time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Crazy story.
Yeah. It's like, cause like, I'm like, oh, I could have like, instead of going here, I could have just, gone to Massachusetts, so where I'm originally from, and just like see him and like hang out with the family and stuff. But it's just like you always put stuff in the back burner. But like, I mean, thank goodness for like video FaceTiming and stuff like that. So I mean, that kind of helps out a little bit. But you don't have like don't give them a hug goodbye or like, hey, good morning, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's wild to think like any time could just be the last day,
Hmm.
that whether you're around or someone else is around, and you just never know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it definitely puts it in perspective when you think about it like that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So enough about me. Let's talk a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So obviously you're in the CrossFit space, but what was your childhood like growing up? And like, I know you originally from Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
grew up in Idaho.
Okay. So how, like, I've never been to Idaho. So what was it like growing up in that state?
Where do you live right now?
Oh, I live in Georgia right now, but I'm originally from
Okay.
Massachusetts.
All right. Cool. Yeah, Idaho is it's a pretty cool place, I guess. It's not like anything too glamorous. It's pretty there's not a lot of people there, first of all.
Hmm.
It's like I think the whole state has like probably gets strong like 1 million people or something. So I mean, it's a big place and not a lot of people.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town like I mean it was like normal size, 60,000 people or something like that.
Hmm.
Nothing too big. I was homeschooled my whole life, so I grew up with I had two brothers and two sisters, and my mom homeschooled all of us through all the way through school. Um, at the time, and even now, I think it was awesome. It was super cool because we got to like kind of guide what we wanted to learn, and we
Hmm.
got do a lot of cool stuff. And in the wintertime, like when it was snowing, um, like if it was Wednesday and we got a good snow day, we were just going skiing, and we
Nice.
school on Saturday. Like
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
day so we could go do something cool. So that was fun. But yeah, Idaho is it gets like the Idaho potato. Like everyone's a farmer, so I was not a farmer at all. We did potatoes one time, but I grew up in the mountains, so we did a lot of. I raced mountain bikes a lot growing up when I was like a teenager. We skied a lot. It's a lot of outdoor stuff. It's pretty
Hmm.
much all we did.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you do a lot of hunting too?
I didn't never really got into hunting that much.
Okay.
I don't know why, because Idaho is like pretty iconic for hunting, but
Hmm.
my family just wasn't really into it, and so I just never. My brother kind of did. He got into hunting, but we never did. I wish I would have. Sounds cool now, but I never really did.
Yeah,
So
like get this like big old elk or like some big buffalo, and you can like have so much meat for like months and
I
months
don't
and
know.
months.
Sounds awesome. I need to get
Yeah.
into it again for sure. I need to get into it sometime. My brother
Yeah.
kind of got into it, and because we would have like we lived up in the mountains, so we'd have moose like walk by our house all the time, and we'd have deer everywhere. And my brother, like the first day of hunting season, he got his tag for his deer, and he's like, "All right, guys." He woke up in the morning, came downstairs, and had his gun. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna go out and just like walk around and see because it's the first day, so I want to like go hunt." So he walks out the front door, and about 5 minutes later, he comes back. And we're like, "You weren't gone very long. What's up?" And he's like, "Well, I just walked over the hill and there was a deer, so I shot it." We're getting the four wheeler and we will pick it up. He's like, "Man, I'm
Jeez.
kind of sad because my hunting season's over now."
Yeah, exactly. I would have waited a couple days.
I know. I'm
Jeez.
like, "You shot the first thing you saw," but yeah, that was kind of where we grew up, just up in the mountains. So it was fun. It's cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So when did you first know about CrossFit?
Um, Man, it's probably I think I went to college for like a year in southern Utah when I was 18.
Hmm.
So while I was down there, my dad sent me this article that he found. It was 2000, would have been 2011, I believe. So he sent me this article. It was titled "What is CrossFit?" and or like what is and it was like Greg Glassman's original, what is fitness
Yep.
article,
Hmm.
and I just read through it, and I was already working out. I was going to the gym, just like I was going to Gold's Gym and doing bench press and
Typical bro sesh.
whatever, and
Yeah.
triceps, you know. do that every day.
Yep.
And so I read that and thought it was really cool. And just the idea of like, because I'd always watch like the movies of like Batman and like The Last Samurai, movies like that where they had like these training montages and they were like building these warriors.
Yep.
And I just always thought that was so cool. I'm like, that is so cool. I just want to train like that. It's so cool. And I read the article and it just talked about being able to do everything and being able to be good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like run a 5K and you can lift weights and you can do muscle ups. And I'm like, that is cool. I want to be like Batman. So I started doing. And I
Nice.
remember, I think I did like one of the first workouts I did was Fran.
Oh,
It took me 15 minutes. I was doing like these strict pull-ups and doing thrusters like 2 at a time or something.
mm-hmm.
And finished. And I was like, man, that was a good workout. And I got on CrossFit.com and looked up like the times. Like, wonder how fast people are doing this workout. And I think Chris Spiller was like 2:05 or something at the time.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world? Like, how is this possible? How are they doing this in 2 minutes? So that kind of got me hooked.
Yeah. So after that workout, were you like, obviously she got hooked, but like, when did you really wanted to like push it a little bit harder to get to like maybe get on like the leaderboard or anything like that, like to try to match up with like the other elite athletes?
Man, it's so long ago, but I think I just remember doing like starting to lift some weights and starting to like, and I came back home from college for the summer. And I remember like it was almost my birthday. And I thought, all right, for my birthday, I'm either going to buy myself a barbell or find a CrossFit gym. And I thought, I'm like, there's no way there's a CrossFit gym in my town.
Mm-hmm.
It's all pretty new and like no one knows what CrossFit is. And I Googled CrossFit and the gym popped up.
Oh, nice.
And it just opened like the month before. So brand new, first CrossFit gym in the town. And so I was like, oh, sick. I guess I'll go check this out. And I went down there and there was no one knew what CrossFit was. So most days I was like the only person in class. And it was just like me and these 2 brothers that started this gym. And I just loved doing it. And then I started doing these workouts and lifting. And I started seeing what other people were lifting and like their workout times. And I was like, oh, like I'm lifting more than them. And I'm doing these workouts just as fast as they are. Like some of them, the ones I'm good at.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I should be able to compete with these guys. And that's kind of when I started like thinking I wanted to, like, I remember my first Fran was 14 minutes. And then after like a few months, I was like 2:30. And I was like, oh, God, that's good. I can do this. And then I've got like a 400-pound front squat. Like, most of these guys can't front squat 400 pounds. Like, I can do this. So
Yeah.
I just started like one thing after another. That's kind of how I got into it.
So have you been naturally strong like your whole life pretty much?
Yeah, I think like my conditioning has always sucked. I don't know why. Like that's always my limiter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not a good runner. If I have to breathe hard at all, I just die. But like I got into like, I don't know how many months in. Yeah, I could front squat 400 pounds. I mean, my lifting technique was terrible for super long because no one knew how to lift. Like we were just doing snatches and clean and jerks, and no one knew what they were doing. So we were just throwing weights over our head.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I could snatch like 200 pounds, just kind of starting out, and so I think that just gave me the confidence to get into it a little bit.
Awesome. So were you like in that gym like all day, almost like?
Yeah, I would go in the morning, because I had work, so I would go in the morning like to like the 6 a.m. class, and I would do the Metcon, and they were always just stupid. They were like crazy workouts because we just write our own workouts, and they were crazy. Like looking back now, I'm like, what were we doing? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I would go to work, and all day at work, I would just think about the workout. I'm like, I definitely can go faster. I know I can go faster. And then I go back at night, like at 6 p.m. and do the workout again and go faster. And I just do that every day. So I
Mhm.
didn't work out twice a day, every day, 5 days a week. That's just what I did for a while.
Yeah. I think back in the CrossFit days, like when it was just like relatively like in its infancy, I think everyone thought that they needed to like literally like run through a brick wall like every
Oh
single day for a workout. And they didn't realize like maybe we should slow down or maybe we should just
yeah.
like take
Practice
breathers
some
here. There. Yeah.
technique, like do something.
Yeah. I mean, even me as a former personal trainer, like all my clients were like, I want to go through a brick wall all the time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you really do not want to do that. So we're gonna like take it easy a little bit today. And they're like, no, I want to go through a brick wall. And I'm like, oh, okay.
All right,
I was
let's
like,
go for it. Yeah,
yeah.
that was the mentality then. It was like you just go hard always. Like
Hmm.
every workout was for as fast as possible. I think anytime you lifted, it was you just max out. No matter
Hmm.
like you just go as heavy as possible every time. So
Yep.
that
And
was like what
who cares if you're like stupid sore and just go for it anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no like not a lot of like practicing or like actual training. Just crush yourself.
Yep, yeah, pretty much.
This one workout we did, it was 150 back squats at 135 for time,
Oh,
which then was like pretty significant weight. Like that's pretty heavy.
yeah.
Um, I mean, it still is terrible, but I remember like I was legitimately sore for 10 days. Like I remember like a week later trying like I couldn't walk well because my legs were so sore.
Hmm.
Just stuff like that constant. Like we do like 50 rope clamps for time. And we'd like do we do like we just sit down and write up like 4 or 5 workouts we like thought were cool and we just do them all. We just do all 5 workouts. It was crazy. Got a little smarter since then. But
Yeah, I can't imagine after those back squats, you're like looking down the flight of stairs and you're like, how am I going to make it down here?
brutal.
Yeah, that's happened to me a bunch of times. Like my quads were so sore, and I'm like, I'm holding my son at the time. He I think it was like three or 2 or 3, and I'm like holding him, and I'm trying to go down the stairs, and I'm like, okay, let's just sit on the stairs and just like go step by step down there, because I'm like, there's no way I can be able to walk and hold you at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've gotten smarter over the years, I guess. We've
Yeah,
kind
of
of figured
course.
out
Yeah,
lower down a little bit better. And so,
yeah.
yeah, we've
So
gotten a little wiser.
yeah. So did you start coaching there as well?
I started, so I was raised a Mormon. So
Hmm.
I went on a mission to Long Beach, California for 2 years. So I kind of, when I started CrossFit, I got into it a little bit just for like a few months. And then I went on a mission for 2 years. Basically, like my schedule there was I would wake up at 6:30 in the morning and I'd have from 6:30 to 7 to, or 6:30 to 7:30 to work out, eat breakfast and get ready for the day. So from like eyes open in the morning to an hour later, you had to be like ready to go. So the like working out was pretty much non-existent. Where you like ran a little bit, lifted a little bit of weights, didn't go to the gym for anything for 2 years.
Hmm.
Um, so I got back from that just super out of shape, and I I think I left weighing like 185, and in the middle of that 2 years, I was got up to like 212. And then when I got back, I lost some weight, anyways, got back into like CrossFit. So as soon as I got back from that when I was 21, I like said like, all right, I really want to try to compete. And so I jumped into like training and competing. And that's
Right.
when I started coaching was
Okay.
when I got back from there.
Hmm.
I got like my L1 and started coaching classes.
Cool. Very cool. So, did you follow like a certain program at the beginning, or did you just follow your gym's program?
Man, what did we, I don't remember what we followed. I think we did, I think we were on Invictus for a little while when I first kind of started.
Hmm.
Was a lot. I remember just being like, they wrote like 6-hour programs, like you had to be in the gym all day. So I think that's what we started out doing. And then I think we'd like kind of, we did some like comp train, and those are kind of like the main, there was like Invictus, comp train, and probably like brute strength were like the
The big
program.
ones. Yeah.
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 So,
Kind
very
of what we
cool. Yeah. So after you were coaching there for a while, um, like obviously like other coaches have different styles of coaching. So what's your style of coaching?
I mean, it's developed a lot over the years and it's
Yeah.
changed a lot as I've like learned more about what I'm doing. And um, I just kind of approach it like, man, I just think about it like what I would want to do. So basically, like when the members come through the door, if I think like, okay, if I'm coming through the door right now and taking this class, like how do I want to warm up? And what do I want to know about this workout? And what's going to be like helpful for me to get better? And how am I like, what do I need to like have a good time and have fun and want to come back tomorrow? Um, so I just kind of think about that. And I think that's really helped me like figure out my pattern of doing things in the class. Um, yeah. And then just, I think I've been doing it for so long and like watching so many people, you kind of just get this kind of like this sixth sense of like what people like, you can see it in their eyes, like
Yep.
if they have a question or if they're not quite sure what they're going to do next, or like if something's actually heavy or if it's too light, or like you can start to see these things. So I think that just takes time and like paying attention. But it's cool to like kind of get into a groove where you feel like you can actually like help a class of like 10 people all have a good experience, and kind of get what they need out of it. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Especially when the ones that like look at the wall for like 20 times, the white wall, be like, is that the
right. They look at
workout?
the
Okay.
board and they kind of like half walk away and you're like, what's up? What's going on?
Yep, yep. I've
That's
seen
what we're
those
doing.
plenty of times. It's like always that they get the double look and walk away, then just turn back around. Like,
And like, I didn't read. Yeah.
yeah,
Didn't
I'm
get,
like, oh, okay, well, like, what do you need? What do you need? Like, do we need to scale something or whatever?
yeah. I'm a pretty chill person. I'm not very loud. I'm not a cheerleader. Um, I just kind of help people, you know, try to help them move a little bit better. But I'm definitely not like the hype man. There's people at the gym that are super awesome. They're like the hype man. Like you come to their class, you're gonna get fired up like to work out.
Hmm.
That's just not me. Like you want to get super fired up, like go take his class because that's just not my personality. But yeah,
Yep.
sometimes I wish it was. Sometimes I was like, man, I wish I get people fired up, but just not.
Yeah, it takes a little while. I mean, it took me a while to get there. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, I yell all the time. Like well, when I was personal training, I would yell and get people all excited and stuff like that. Even the people that weren't even in my class or like training,
yeah.
they could definitely hear me from
Going
across the
on over
room.
there?
Yeah, yeah. They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, what is he doing?" So, yeah. So, you live in California right now. So
yeah.
when did you move from Idaho to California?
About 2 years ago.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So is that when you were like, what was the reason for the move?
Mostly when I got divorced, I moved out here. So that was like the big change transition in my life and everything in the last 2 years. So yeah.
Hmm. And so the first year that you were there, and you got worked at the gym, and so what was it like, training at Idaho compared to California? What was like the whole atmosphere like, the coaching style like, and like even like the people that are taking your classes like?
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty, as you can imagine, very different group of people. The the gym that I was started coaching at and coaching at still Paradiso CrossFit, um, in here is pretty big. Like they have two gym locations. One of them has, I mean, this total of like 600 members, I think, or something like that.
That's insane.
So going from like our gym in Idaho, like our biggest class was maybe like 12 people, and that was, just like one time a day. You come down here and there's like consistently classes of like 25 people. Like, so you're just the group management became much bigger part of it. I mean, I was like fairly experienced at time, so I knew what I was doing. But yeah, I think that was like the main thing, just like the number of people coming through the door,
Hmm.
and then just like, all right, how do you like remember like probably 300 to 400 people's names?
Yeah.
It's like, good luck remembering all these people. And then there's new people just cycling through constantly, so you're always like okay, is this a new person? Are they brand new? Are they, it's like their first time? There's tons of drop-ins all the time. So it's like, all right, you have 3 drop-ins, you have 2 brand new people that have never done CrossFit, you have 12 members that have been coming for years. Like that kind of dynamic was like pretty challenging for a
Mm-hmm.
while. So yeah, still,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always challenging. But
Yeah. I can't imagine your first class when you had like 25 people in there. You're like, what the hell is like, what,
oh my
like
gosh.
eyes were blown up. They're like,
We
okay.
got 8 squat racks and 10 rowers and 25 people. So you have to like change workouts and like partner people up, and you know, it's a job, but it's
Yeah.
fun. It's a
Yeah.
good
I mean,
community.
it is, it's always an event. I think of it always as a new adventure, like every single day.
Yeah, you just never know what's
Yep.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Always something always different. Something always different. So, but you've actually been to the semifinals, and I think sorry, regionals and semifinals.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2018. You went to the South Regional. Was that? I think I'm correct.
Yeah, I think, let's see if I remember. 2017, I went to the North, I think it was the Northwest Regional
Hmm.
or the West Regional, maybe. I don't remember when they split them. I think it was just like this West Super Regional at that point.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was in Portland, Oregon. That was the year there was like there was no barbells. It was like all of a sudden there was no barbells in CrossFit anymore for like a year.
Yeah, I remember that. So what was it? What was it like when you got the invitation to go to regionals for you?
It was like something. It was a goal I had for a long time, um, and so it was. I mean, it was super cool. I remember finishing. It was what workout was it? Oh, it was the 10 rounds of double unders and thrusters, like 9 thrusters, 35 double unders, something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
That was the last week workout of the week, and I did it once, and I just knew my time wasn't good enough because I knew I could see the leaderboard, and
Hmm.
I was pretty close to the cut line. I mean, I think I was like a spot out or something like that. I was in like 23rd place. Um, and so I knew I had to do it again. I knew I had to go unbroken on everything. Like I couldn't mess up my double unders one time. And so yeah, I did that workout and did it perfectly. Like didn't mess up my double unders, everything unbroken as fast as I possibly could. So I was pretty stoked about that. Just kind of knowing like, okay, like I did as much as I possibly could. Now I'll just see what happens.
Hmm.
And I'm still outside the cut line by like 2 spots. So I think it took a while. It was like 2 weeks after the open. And then I got like enough people dropped out or didn't, or went team or whatever, and got my invite. It was pretty cool. I was pretty excited. I was super excited to be able to go to regionals. So
Yeah. What was the whole atmosphere for you like with your first, regionals? And they seeing all these like star athletes and stuff like that. Like, were you starstruck at like any time during the whole,
I've
regional?
never been like, I don't know. I've never been like a celebrity person. Like I don't follow anybody. Like I could care less if I met most people. Like I'd be like, there's like 3 people in the world that I think would be cool to meet.
Hmm.
Um, so it wasn't like that, but I think I came in, um, like I was literally like I had number 40 on my arm, like because there's 40 athletes and I was number 40. Like I was the very last guy to
Hmm.
qualify. Um, and I finished the first workout and got like 11th place out of 40. And I was like, oh hell yeah, like that's what I'm talking about, you know?
Yep.
I just thought like, oh, these guys are all like so fit. And like I've seen them all on Instagram and they're gonna crush me. And I beat most of them. And I was like, that was probably cooler than even qualifying for regionals, was after that first workout, realizing like, oh, I can beat these guys. Like they're not that fit, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
They're all very fit, but
Well,
they're
yeah,
not
yeah.
that much fitter than I am.
Yeah, pretty much you're thinking like, okay, I can hang with these guys, and
Yeah.
so this is like super cool. And I know in 2018, um, I think did you place? I don't know, like the whole CrossFit website's like all jacked up. So if I get the numbers wrong, like I apologize for that.
No, you're
Um,
good.
so for the year after that, after you finished that regional, were you like, okay, I need to like step it up a little bit more to actually like make it higher up and maybe podium?
Yeah, I think I finished like 11th place overall in 17. And So I definitely gave like came in last place to start this weekend, finished in 11th. So that kind of gave me a lot of confidence. Like, all right, I can train hard this year and I can
Mm,
make it, you know, to
yeah.
the game, which is it's always the goal. Um, and then so yeah, I trained super hard that year. Like that was definitely like my hardest year of training, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to do really well and like do everything right.
Mm,
And I went to regionals in 18 and got sixth place.
yeah. Okay. That's what I was going to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, so I came in like top. I think I came in like top 10 going into the weekend. I think I was like
Hmm.
9 or something. Um, and at that point, like okay, I know I compete better. Like I have a really hard time with qualifiers and like doing stuff in my gym, but when I show up on a competition floor, like I compete really well.
Hmm.
I feel much better. I can like I feel like I can beat these guys. And so like, but getting sixth place was like pretty crushing. Because I put so much into it and like the weekend was so stressful. Um, and then like the middle of that year, everything in CrossFit changed. It was like I can't remember if that was when like Glassman left. Maybe it was a little bit later. No, that was just they changed the format. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden it went from like regionals to like the open didn't really matter. And it was like so suddenly it was like all these sanctional events. And so that was kind of like the change of the season. So
Yeah, that was the one where like I think it was Patrick Veller didn't know how he got in. He was like, I think it was the Open, but I think it was Wadapalooza, or I think it
uh,
was like this. And so it was like a big cluster because like no one really knew what it was and how to
yeah,
like process. But but yeah, so and I think and then I saw you at the Mac, was it like this was it 2 years ago?
right.
And you placed sixth there again.
Yeah, play
And
six
so
there.
was that pretty crushing as well, or?
That was not as crushing. I mean, I was pretty stoked about that actually.
Mhm.
There was like there was that in between like 18 and what was that 2021. So I
Mhm.
guess it was 2 years of man, I don't even remember. Well, the first year I went to Wadapalooza, it was like the sanctional event or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Some sanctional event. I did
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
bad that year, like got bottom 5 or something, just blew up. Um, and then the next year I was feeling great. I was qualified for MAC. I was qualified for um, the West Coast Classic. I
Mhm.
was qualified for one other, I think. Um, and then COVID hit. So like I was literally like a week away from going to the West Coast Classic, and then it just all just fell apart, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't even think yeah, obviously didn't even compete that year, didn't do anything.
That
Um,
that that must have been super hard for you because you were like training so hard, and then all of a sudden you're like ready to rock and roll, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and then like were you thinking like, hey, this whole year was like a waste at all, or?
yeah, I mean, it was tough because on the one hand, like I knew it was like everyone was going through it. I wasn't like, oh, it's just me. Like, you know, I didn't get like kicked out of West Coast Classic. It was like the event just didn't happen. So,
Mhm.
um, so like logically, I was like, oh yeah, it's like this is just what it is, and everyone's going through it. So like I can't feel bad for myself that I like can't go compete because you know the whole world's shut down essentially at this point.
Yep.
But like emotionally, I think that was tough just to put so much time and effort into something and then like really have and just feel like you're so close and then just have it kind of taken away from you. So yeah, it was tough. It was a tough time, like trying to like find some reason to train because I'm like I have no idea when I'm going to compete again or do anything.
Mhm.
It's like trying to find some motivation to go to the gym was pretty tough. I just remember like trying to go work out and just be sitting there like, why am I even working out right now? Like, my whole motivation to train always has just been not always, but it kind of gradually became like just to compete.
Mhm.
So if like I'm not competing, why am I even? What am I doing here? And yeah, I mean, it was tough.
Yeah. I mean,
So
even for me too, for actually for anybody, like it's like there's so many Zoom, classes you can take and be like, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. Like literally you have a coach just sitting there watching you guys, like watching
Yeah.
everybody work out. It's just like, and I get a picture of the coach is just like, okay, I'm done with this. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a couple times that I was like, all right, I gotta, just like kind of half-ass a workout. And I was like, okay, I guess that's good enough.
I was super lucky because I lived in Idaho, so they're pretty chill about everything COVID anyways. And then also had like coach at the gym, so I had access to the gym all the time. So we took like, we were only shut down for like 6 weeks or something short. Um, but the whole time, like I was able to train, and while everyone else was like locked in their houses all over the world, we were like had this 10,000 square foot gym facility all to myself, and I was just working out. So
Yep. Yeah.
it was kind of awesome at the same time. It was cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And so obviously the MAC you play six, and then you went into the Granite Games this past year. So was that like one of the first spots you wanted to go to, or were there like any other places that you wanted to go first?
So like the first year of semifinals, they kind of gave you they gave you a choice. So you had like, you could put in like your top, I think it was four events, right?
Yep.
So you could put in like, okay, this is my first, second, third, fourth choice. And going into the second year, the idea was that it was going to be the same. Like that format was going to be okay. You qualify, the better you do in the quarterfinals is where they'll seed you from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get a like preference. That didn't happen at all. Like CrossFit basically just took that and said, all right, we'll just put you wherever we want to put you. And we'll try to separate out some of like the big dog, like games athletes. But everyone else like essentially just got put randomly. So
Mm-hmm.
no, that was not my first choice at all.
So was it West Coast that you wanted to go to first, or
Yes, I think, I don't even know if
was it even open?
West Coast didn't even happen
No, no.
this year, but the first year, yeah,
Yeah.
the first year was MAC was my first choice because I kind of knew their programming, not like their actual programming, but like previous years, and I knew it was like very CrossFit-y, very simple, and I was like, I know I'm good at that stuff, so that was my first preference, and I ended up going there. And then this last year, my first preference would have been probably would have been MAC again because it was such an awesome event. Like they did such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I went to MAC last year, it was impressive to me. Like they did such a good job. It was ran really perfectly, and those guys can put on a really good event. And then the following weekend, I went to my girlfriend's event at Granite Games, and not to throw them under the bus or anything, but it was terrible. Like
Mm-hmm.
very poorly ran event. So I was like, I do not want to go to Granite Games because it was terrible. I ended up going to Granite Games.
Yeah, you should have just shut your mouth on that one.
I know I shouldn't have said anything. I would have found someone else.
Yeah, I think you like the Mac because of the torque tank.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, the torque tank was terrible too.
Where I was listening to a podcast and I think they were talking about like the torque tank. There's no way to get ahead of a person in front of you when you're using the torque tank. It's impossible.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no like, yeah. There's all these things that like, from a viewer's perspective, you don't kind of like you don't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you sit down like backstage with all the athletes, there's a lot of things that like get brought up about the event or about workouts. And I'm sure like this last year at the games, like this last CrossFit Games, that was probably a big thing. Because a lot of that like conversation I don't think really gets out that much. So you hear athletes talking, and even like big name CrossFit athletes saying stuff about the event or about workouts, but that will never really get out because it will like hurt their image or whatever. They have sponsors or they just don't want to like put any energy into it, which is cool. But yeah, stuff like that, like the torque tank, like I can't think of a single person who's like, oh yeah, the torque tank's a great piece of equipment. Everyone's like, why are we doing this thing? It's so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
no matter how hard I can push a sled, I can't push this torque tank any faster than it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah. So you have to like slowly walk it just to even like
everyone just walks the torque tank, and then when you're done walking, you go do whatever you're gonna do next. So
yep, exactly.
The sled actually at at Granite Games was very different because they put like these skis on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
I
that,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, that was actually like legit. That was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I do remember seeing that. That looked horrible.
yeah, it was, man. Yeah, that was rough.
So, what was your expectations going into Granite Games?
I've had like again like really high expectations. At this point, like I've been doing CrossFit for like 9 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I kind of like, I mean, it sounds like self-demeaning, but it's like I know like I'm not Matt Frazier. Like I'm not like going to the games and going to win 5 times in a row or anything. Like it would be really cool if I end up at the game sometime by some luck and some fitness and whatever. But like for whatever reason, my lifestyle, my fitness level, my capacity, whatever it is, like probably not going to be like a high end competitive athlete for years,
Mm-hmm.
which, like it's tough to accept at first. But once you kind of accept that, then you're like, all right, what's my real reason for training and working out? And then you can kind of build from there. So I think going into Granite Games, like I finished maybe like top 25 or something in North America in quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was feeling great. I was like, all right, top 25 in this online qualifier. And only like 5 or 6 of these guys at the event actually beat me in the qualifier. So I think I have a pretty good shot of like passing some of those guys and getting a top 5 spot. And I showed up at the event, and yeah, the first workout was that thruster handstand walk one. And I got like 2 sets in and just I couldn't feel my arms and my legs just felt like bricks. And I was like, man, I just probably just came out too hot. Like I'll be fine. Just gotta push through this event. So I finished that event, didn't do too well. And that just didn't go away. I just rest of the weekend, especially that I think it was the first event of the second day. Um, like I was in the lane right next to Chandler Smith, and we did our sit-ups, our GHC sit-ups. We did our wall balls, and we did a bunch of overhead squats. And I got back to my second, and we got back to those muscle ups, and I got like halfway through the muscle ups and just was so dizzy. I just like was holding on to the rig, and everything was kind of moving. I was trying not to fall over. And
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of the weekend, it felt like awful. Every workout was just a grind and felt like my legs were full of bricks and just slow and heavy. So yeah, it was just a rough weekend. Didn't feel too great.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. I mean, even look at Chandler Smith. He had a
Yeah,
breathing
Chandler.
issue that no one knew.
Yeah, I don't
But
even know what really happened to him. I never really heard, but I'm assuming he was sick or something because
yeah.
he was doing
So
rough.
I think I watched the Buttery Bros movie that they did on him. It's on YouTube, and I
Yeah,
guess he has like asthma. He's had asthma like even in the military, and what he would do is like he'd have asthma attacks in the military and push himself even harder to kind of like so he won't get like medically discharged from the military. And I
right.
guess like one of these asthma attacks just like flared up, and he just couldn't recover. Like he couldn't recover from the asthma attack the whole weekend,
Yeah, yeah.
which
You could
is
tell like he would finish events and he would just like he was like passed out on the ground, just dying all the
mhm.
time. So I'm sure that was pretty rough. But we were like, for some whatever reason, we were like next to each other the whole weekend. Like he was in the lane next to me for whatever reason, the whole time. So yeah, we were like just dying together out there.
Did you guys talk at all?
Not a whole lot, no.
Okay.
Um, the guys are pretty chill, but most like because everyone's in like competition mode,
Hmm.
so like just don't talk a whole lot usually. The only time
Yeah.
you see people are like when you're warming up or when you crowd, and it's like pretty high stress, so everyone's just kind of standing around. There's always like one dude who's joking around and super lighthearted. Everyone else is just quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the athletes there got popped for PEDs.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to talk about it, but like, what are your thoughts on, I mean, people popping for PEDs in the CrossFit space?
I mean I've gone through the whole like um on the one hand you have like this image of competitive CrossFit,
Hmm.
and if you're if you want to be competitive, then if you want to be competitive, you have to you have to assume that no one or very few people are doing performance enhancing drugs. Because if they are, then to be able to compete against them, you have to do what they're doing. Um, so like there's this thing where it's like, all right, I don't want to think that like everyone's on PEDs, because then it just undervalues everything we're trying to do, and also makes like my efforts kind of worthless. Like I can train as hard as I possibly can, and unless I start taking steroids, I'm never be able to compete with them. So if that's your mentality, you've like already quit.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's just a reality of sport. Like there's not a sport on earth that people aren't taking drugs they shouldn't be taking. And so I don't know how prevalent it is among CrossFitters. Like I know there's definitely people that take them. Obviously, but is it everyone? I don't think so. I think it's just some people. And I think it's generally probably like up and comers. Because I think that a lot of like up and comers who are looking at these, Matt Frazier, Patrick Vellner, think like, man, to be able to like get to that level, I have to do something else. Because I'm working really hard. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm gonna have to like do something else to compete with these guys who I think, not I, but like if they think they're on steroids, you gotta do steroids. So
Well, that was one of the guys that talked to. He was on the Savan podcast, and I think Nick Joel, I think it was named, that got popped, and he was like, I just got sick and tired of like placing in a lower level. So I was just like sick and tired of it, and I was like, okay, screw it, I'm just gonna do it just to get to the higher level. And obviously, like, yeah, it might have been great in the beginning, but is it really worth it? I mean, you're not making that much money in CrossFit anyway.
Yeah, that was always my thought. Is like, why would you like, if you did take steroids and get into the games and even win the CrossFit games and get away with it, and you're still making, like, after taxes, what are you making from the CrossFit games? Not very much.
Maybe half of what you're getting taken home.
And then you could end up like Ricky Garrard and, have 4 years where you just can't compete, which is not, I just don't think it's worth it. Like, if you were making, it would make more sense to me if you were like winning the CrossFit games and making $10 million. Like, right, there's enough money in it that it's worth like getting a doctor and doing all the stuff you can do to cheat the system. But as it is, like, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. So so I kind of want to talk about like your favorite competitions that you've done. I know you did Wadapalooza on a team this year. So is Wadapalooza probably like your favorite event that you've done?
Yeah, probably. Wadapalooza is definitely the most fun, for sure. Like if you want to have like a fun event, then Wadapalooza is the one. You just have to go into it accepting it's going to be messy, because like it's really messy.
Yeah.
If you can get past that, then it's a super fun competition. I've been to Wadapalooza like, I think 6 times, maybe 4 times. I think 6, maybe. I don't remember. A lot of times, because it's really fun. Every year I go, I'm like, that was super fun. I want to go back. And yeah, I think it was the first year I went, we had this workout. It was like, you do deadlifts, and then they had you run down the ramp and jump into the water.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The barge, and then you climbed up the barge and did handstand push-ups, and then jump back in the water. And it was like, when you did it, it was the middle of the night. There was smoke and strobe lights, and it was awesome. Like I just remember like doing handstand push-ups and looking back at the crowd and just thinking, this is so cool. Like not very many people get to do this, and it's just a really cool venue and cool place. So yeah, that was kind of like one of the like most memorable workouts, and definitely most memorable like events that I've done. So
yeah, that's one of my bucket lists, just to go down there. I mean, I live in Georgia, I might as well,
Have you never been to Wadapalooza?
No, I've been to Miami before. I just never been to Wadapalooza. Like that's always like one of the places that I want to go.
Yeah, it's just a party. Like it's a lot of fun. Because there's like 1,300 competitors and thousands of spectators, hundreds of vendors, and it's a crazy weekend. There's always rain. It rains every year. Just thunder, lightning, craziness. events always get canceled. They always get changed. You just never know what time you're going to go or do anything. It's just wild. It's like the
Yeah.
wild west of fitness out there.
Yeah. Of course. Of course. Yeah. And I was,
Like, it's Miami. That's what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. I was watching it on like the live streams and stuff like that. And I had so much FOMO of like, I was like literally watching it every single time, like going on Instagram and like checking out the posts and stuff. And I was like, gosh, like this could have been the year I maybe could have gone, but I'm hoping maybe next year we'll see what happens. But I have an open, I have a somebody that said, listen, I got a room for you. You can sleep in there and do whatever. So I was like, okay, see what happens.
Fun time.
Yeah, very cool. So we're getting close to the end. So I know I kind of want to talk about your programs too, because I know you have like an engine program and a machine program. So how did you like make those up?
Yeah, it's something I just kind of started doing recently. I've been programming for the gym I work at, and then just after competing this last year, I took some time off, and then coming back into it, just started like keeping it really simple. I would start out just like doing a single lift, and then just doing some accessory work, and then doing a Metcon and calling it a day. That's what I would start doing most days. And I really liked it, and it was really fun. And then I just thought, like, there's a lot of people that probably want a little bit more than just a normal class workout at the gym. Probably have a little bit more time. And there's a bunch of dudes out there that like, they like CrossFit like me, but they also want to be big, and they also want to have some muscle and like look fit. And so I thought this is perfect. Like, you can do some weightlifting, do some bodybuilding, and work on that. You can hit a quick CrossFit workout because it's fun, keeps your fitness up, and you're in and out of the gym 90 minutes. And I just knew some people that might be interested, and so I started writing out this program and just sharing it with people. So yeah, just barely started that just a few weeks ago, and so hopefully I can start to like grow that a little bit. I think it'll be super fun to like start to build some content around it and everything. And then yeah, the engine program is just like a 12-week cardio kind of based around like machine, C2 bike, salt bike, ski, row, stuff like that. It's pretty simple, just like 30-40 minutes like 3 or 4 times a week conditioning. So
very cool. Are you looking to do like gymnastics or anything like that, or are you just kind of stick with those two?
The goal is kind of build out that program. I would love to be able to have some kind of work and I guess income that's just online, so I can start to, I guess, like just reach more people, because I feel like in the gym you're pretty limited. Like, this is like, you're kind of limited to people that walk through the door. So if there's 50 people that walk through the door, like those are the people that you can program for. But the world is a big place, so I think there's a lot of people out there that would benefit from some coaching and some programming, and I think I just reach a lot more people than that walk through the gym door. So
yeah. So what I've noticed for coaching people and stuff like that, people say like, hey, I want to look like you. And so that's how people want to like start training with you. So I mean, I would kind of go that route. I mean, shit, you're jacked, so you might as well,
go use it, right?
You use it. So I mean, you could probably get a good amount of like, people following your program too.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I tell a lot of people. I'm like, look, I know I have good genetics. Like, it's just, it's a fact, but I've been training a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like a combination of both, and everyone can optimize what they're given. And so you may not have fantastic, bodybuilding type genetics, but you could be super fit, and it's just going to take some time. Like, it's going to take some work. So
yeah. So asking for a friend. So is the engine workout good for like a 6'6" guy that weighs about like 215?
That's perfect. You crushed that. Yeah, you crushed that. You crushed that training program.
Okay, good.
She's smashing those machines.
Yeah, I love using machines like the rower. Like, it's easy, ski. So the gym I go to now, they have a skier, and it's like the first time I'm kind of like messing around with it. And man, like one pull, I'm already like pulling like a calorie, like each pull. And I'm like, nice. This is awesome. Yeah, and I just need to work on the assault bike a little bit more because like I just got an Echo bike and I'm like trying to mess with that and it's just like whew, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, it just is. It's a grind on the Echo bike always.
Yeah, I know it's like stupid heavy too. It's like 220 pounds. You're like, good Lord, like solid steel too.
It's just built like a tank.
Yeah.
But they don't ever break. I mean, we've been riding Echo bikes forever, and all you have to do once in a while is like tighten those little bolts. Assault bikes, though, they just crumble. They
hmm
fall apart under any use. So
Yeah.
Echo
Yeah.
bikes can go for sure.
Yeah. I'm excited. I was so happy I got it because it was my like I'm old as dirt, so I'm gonna be 43 on
So
Sunday. So old. But like my wife gave me the Echo bike for my birthday present, so I'm like, nice. And I got it like a week before my birthday, so I've just been like messing around with the like early morning working out, like just like warming up before I go to the gym to work out and stuff. And so
yeah,
yeah, super helpful.
yeah, it's great.
All right.
Love some machines.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting to like the non-rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So, do you have any goals for the rest of the year? I know you kind of talked about it through your program, but like, do you have anything like other personal or like athletic based?
Um, Kind of my main goal is to for myself mostly, and I would like to be able to share this with other people, is just kind of building out like a little bit of a like almost like a lifestyle program.
hmm
Um, so I think so much of my time has been focused on like pushing my competitiveness. I think I've left out a lot of just like, all right, do I want to be like fit and healthy when I'm 75? So a little bit more like longevity stuff and just kind of a lot more just mental health things and yeah, just more longevity focused stuff. So I've been like working on my diet a little bit, just trying to like move a little bit away from so much competitive eating to, I
hmm
mean, not competitive eating, but like
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
eating to be competitive.
Yeah.
Um, just to like a little bit more healthy, like going for walks, old person stuff. So
hmm
I find it's been nice, it's been helpful. So kind of one of my main goals. Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. What is your favorite book?
Favorite book is probably has been for a long time The Walking Drum by Lou L'Amour.
Okay. Never heard of that one before.
That's the old thick book. Most of his books are like really small, like westerns, and
hmm
this one is, anyways, it's awesome, like adventure story. I read it a long time ago and just loved it. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. What is in your gym bag? I know you did an advertisement for the new bag that you have now. So, what is it and what do you have in there?
yeah. Haven athletic bags, pretty cool. They sent me one, so that was really cool of them, and keeps all my stuff organized because I'm just a disaster. So I always tell people like the only thing you need, like I would work out in like chucks and jean shorts as long as I have uh, grips. If I have gymnastics grips, then I'm good.
Mhm.
My main go-to thing. That a belt and Evo jump rope. Those are like pretty low maintenance. I don't have knee sleeves. Um, yeah, I don't like everything else is just kind of extra once in a while, but those things are like go-to items.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching your store, like your Instagram post, and like, why don't you, you never wear knee sleeves? And like, what's the whole reason
Yeah,
for
I
you
can't
don't?
breathe. That's the main thing. I wore knee sleeves one time or a couple times, and I just feel like I can't breathe. I guess I breathe through my knees or something, but
Okay.
I get like claustrophobic. So
Interesting. Okay. All right. All right.
yeah,
That's
I didn't wear like lifters until just a few years ago, and I just hate wearing knee sleeves. But yeah,
Yeah, I just started wearing lifters like a couple of years ago, but I think my main thing is like I don't want to rely on them on like every single big lift.
yeah,
So
right.
I just want to wear like regular sneakers while I do work it, like when I do heavy lifts, like once in a while, just so I can be like, okay, if I'm in a workout, or like the open, they have like a heavy lift and I'm wearing sneakers, I can handle it.
Yeah, you can just jump in and hit it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So this one's gonna go a little deep. Let's just say you're on your deathbed and you have everyone, all your friends and family around you. How do you want people to know you as?
Oh man. I think just I would like to be known for just doing what I love doing,
Hmm.
and like kind of making that the focus of my life, and hopefully that that can like help some other people, try to do what they love, whether like you're going to be rich or not, or whether you're going to have all the things you want exactly like you want them. You spent your time doing something that you actually really enjoyed doing. So yeah,
Awesome.
that
Awesome.
answers.
Love it. Love it. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions with like your programming, or if they want to like, hop into your gym and, try to outflex you or anything like that? Or
Yeah, for sure. Come on down to Redondo Beach, California, and jump into the gym there. I coach at Next Level CrossFit and Paradiso CrossFit over in Culver City. So great places to work out. Yeah, the best place to reach me, I mean, it's the only place I'm really on is Instagram. Like I can't handle any other. I've tried TikTok, I think, for a day and
oh,
quit.
I,
And
I I had to get rid of it too. I just couldn't handle it too much.
too much. Too much.
Yeah.
Instagram's too much. But yeah, just DM me on Instagram and I'll answer you back at some point. I'm terrible at answering messages or getting back to people, but I'll get to you sometime. For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you for, coming on to my show and like, learning a little bit more about you, which is awesome because I like, the people that I follow, I want to get to know them a little bit more. And like maybe that all the people that follow you got a chance to, understand how you tick and what you're all about.
Yeah, hopefully there's like a little story behind it all. So yeah, thanks for having me on. It was super fun having a good conversation. It was good.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, well we'll talk again sometime for
All
sure.
right. Have a good one.
Okay, thank you. See
All
ya.
right. Don't hang up just yet. Don't hang up
Okay,
just
I'll
yet.
leave. I'll
Okay.
leave.
All right, cool. All right, just make it sure. Just make it sure. Dude, thank
Yeah,
you for doing this, by the way.
dude, it was good. It was
Yeah.
fun.
So
Yeah.
is this your first podcast ever?
Yeah, I think so.
Because like I was trying to do research on you, like I searched on like any podcast like that you was on like that you were on, and there was like nothing.
Yeah. No, I think this is the first podcast I've been on. So yeah, first for everything.
Well, the good thing is I got picked up with a CrossFit Media team, Clydesdale Media. I don't know if you've
Okay.
heard of them
Yeah, I've
before.
heard of it.
So this video will go on their YouTube channel, and they'll like obviously I'll promote the hell out of it and everything. And
Awesome.
so yeah, so I typically get about like 1,000 downloads, well, roughly like 500 to 1,000 downloads per episode.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
More than
awesome.
better. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would love to get you guys to get you more recognition and stuff, especially on Instagram, and hopefully a couple more people pick up your program.
yeah, hopefully I just need to post a few more times and then once in a while it'll be better. So
Yeah, I would promote the hell out of it because there's like so many people that do programs, but like they're not that great.
yeah, a lot of
So
them are like most people are on like these pseudo competitive programs, which they don't really need to be doing.
mhm.
Like unless you're trying to compete, like you probably don't need to be doing a lot of this stuff. So you could be doing something that's like a little more helpful.
Yeah,
So that's what I
and that
said.
and that's what I would promote too. Be like, hey, you got all these like competitive, training companies, and mine's just a lifestyle one, and I would make it as just like the lifestyle, program. Because
Yeah,
like 99% of the people don't want to be competitive. They just want to go in and just
right.
die and then just leave and then maybe
Yeah,
drink a beer after.
right. Yeah, most people in the gym are not trying to like optimize their snatch and muscle up technique so they can be competitive. They're just trying to stay fit and feel better. So
Yeah, exactly. So this episode's coming out in I think like not this week, in like 3 weeks. Actually, no, 2 weeks after this week.
cool.
So what I'll do is obviously I'll let you know and tag you and everything,
That's sweet.
and then kind of go from there. And if you want to promote it too, you're more than welcome to,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and kind of go from there. And I would love to have you back on too.
Cool. Yeah.
So, and then maybe you can get your Madison on there too. So
Yeah,
I didn't want to talk about her because I was like, I wanted to do one thing. I'm like, since she's like an old MMA fighter, do you guys like, does she like put you in like chokeholds if she gets you guys into an argument?
Take me out many times. I have to always be careful when I'm walking around because she'll start punching me and I can't do anything. I just
Yeah,
so
you're like, I quit.
yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Are you looking to do Wadapalooza this year too?
Probably not. No, I haven't been doing the qualifiers or anything. Unless for some reason next few weeks someone decides to put a team together. Probably not.
Okay. All right.
Maybe I'll try
Well,
to go out. Maybe I've always wanted to watch. I've always every time I'm competing, I'm like, man, I wish I was here just watching and hanging out and having fun.
yeah.
So maybe I'll try to go watch this year if it works out.
Yeah, I've seen like Vendor Village, like obviously through like a computer, and it's like ginormous, and it's just like
Yeah, it's crazy.
unreal. And like the Miami scene, like I'm not really big into Miami because like I don't want to spend like $12 for like a beer.
Right.
It's not my thing, but like it's yeah, it's just bananas down there, and it's like I can't imagine with the CrossFit too.
Yeah. Miami's I love Miami. I think it's super fun. It's a great place to visit. Once like you're there for about a week, it's enough. But
Yeah, it's like Vegas.
yeah, it's kind of like Vegas. You're like, that's enough. It's a
Yeah,
little crazy.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Well, I gotta head out because I get up at like 4:20 to go work out at 5.
Oh
So
no, if you're one of
uh,
those guys.
yeah,
Well, I
well
gotta go
I'm
coach at 5, so
yeah I have no choice. So because I got 2 kids and I got to put them to bed and everything. But yeah. So once again, thank you for doing this, and I'd love to have you back on again. And then whenever you got something new coming up, just let me know and I'll promote it too. So
okay, cool. Yeah, we'll stay in touch and figure it out.
all right, definitely. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later and have fun coaching tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll do. Have
All
fun
right.
working out.
All right. Bye.
Bye, buddy. Bye.